Hello, guys. Ben here from Mouth of the Tyne. Welcome to another live Full-Tyne Whistle. Tonight we're discussing Newcastle United versus Crystal Palace. Joined by Neil and Dean. Some of you guys might know from NUFC Twitter. Thank you both for joining me, guys. How are you doing this evening?
I'm all right, thanks.
Good, mate. Thanks.
We've been
Thanks
better.
for joining us.
It's fine, man. Lovely to have you both here. We'll just do a quick post-match analysis of what we've seen tonight. Where to start? Obviously, VAR's going to be the biggest controversy of the match. Again, it looks like we've been robbed through poor officiating in the VAR room. What do you guys think? What was your perspective at the game? Dean, do you want to go first and tell us like what you saw while you were there, and then what you've seen after?
Yeah, I mean, disappointing. Obviously, in the overall feeling is that we've been robbed. The goal should have stood, or it should have been a penalty. That much is clear. But my opinion during the match and afterwards was that we didn't play very well, and yes, we were robbed with that goal, but we had chances to score before and we had chances to score afterwards. So, yeah, I'm disappointed that was disallowed, but my feeling today was that we weren't at the races. We couldn't quite get going.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that one. What, Neil, can I get your thoughts on the VAR controversy?
You know, you can probably see it here. I'll duck down.
Oh, yes. I just realised that's the background.
That's the background. Yeah,
Brilliant.
I mean, Mitchell's played a blinder here. He's simultaneously fouled Willock and given away a penalty, but got away with both. So it's either penalty or or you allow the goal. And I think it's an inexperienced ref that's been bullied by a senior VAR official. You know,
Yeah.
But didn't Vieira come out and say that it was the right decision?
Of course, yeah. I was a standard at that. I was kind of glad that Eddie Howe finally said something, because I think that's the fifth decision now, and it feels as if Newcastle fans are conspiracy theorists. All my friends laugh at me because the takeover was conspiracy, then the sponsorships are conspiracy. Now it's VAR, but you know, Brighton wrongly disallowed that goal, Wilson. Man, I mean, even my missus knows the distance between Wilson and the defender's head, because I've said it so many times. You know, City, Schar was fouled by Stones, Longstaff, the pull, and I saw it. I was right opposite it at the pull on Longstaff's shirt. That was for a long period of time. Then Wednesday, now today, we had 23 shots though.
It was.
We had 23 shots. Isaac had a chance. He should have put it to the one side. Miggy had chances. Willock had chances. We really need to be a bit more cutthroat.
We do. Dean's left us. He's back. Dean's back in the room.
I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, we've had a little switch around. It was a strange one. It's like I felt like how I worded it was like it was. Yeah, probably a draw was a deserved point, a deserved result, but it was still a very infuriating game, very frustrating game. I'm not saying we necessarily deserved to win, but I think we did have the better chances. But Crystal Palace did have a few chances on the break. I think it was a game of like end to end at one point. There was like we seemed to attack for 10, 15-minute periods. They seemed to attack for 10, 15-minute periods. I felt like they got the better of it in midfield. Joe Linton tried his best.
He played amazing, I thought. He played.
Yeah, he did, but he can't do it by himself. And Longstaff, we know he's not an adequate replacement for Bruno or for Shelby, and he struggled again today. I feel like his awareness is shocking at times, especially there was that one chance on the edge of the box early in the second half when he could have passed it or got a shot off, and he did neither. And the crowd was fuming, and you could see it, like he just doesn't have that awareness, and it's so frustrating. But just to finish off on the VAR, because I don't want to drag on about it too long, although it is a major talking point for tonight. it just feels like the world is against us, or at least the VAR is against us at the minute, the VAR ref. It just feels like every single game we're getting robbed. And, you know, I put a tweet out before saying, like, you know, if we'd have won today, we would have been 5th. And, you know, it would have been an excellent start of the season. But then if we lose next week, you know, we'll be languishing in the bottom half somewhere, closer to the, you know, the relegation battle. You would assume, although obviously I would presume we're not going to be involved in it this year, but we probably would be down there if we lost next week, or somewhere near. And it's like, these are the fine margins that the VAR is robbing us of. You know, like, we could have had a top 5, you know, placement tonight, and instead we're worried about, shit, can we win against West Ham next week? Because if we don't, it won't have been a great start to the season. So it's just frustrating, man. It's so wrong, and it shouldn't be happening.
West Ham had a bad decision as well today.
True.
I was just about to say, it's easy for us to feel like there's an agenda against Newcastle, but when you see the terrible decisions happening all over the country, it just highlights how inept the Premier League officiating is.
Yeah. The system, the VAR system is fine. It's the people that are running the system that possibly need some more training. Trying to be a bit political here. I don't see why we can't have a live independent body of ex-Premier League refs, and just to go kind of, just so they can, because they just aren't capable of making the decision live. You can see that their asses are wobbling as they're running towards the line. But I'm finding it really, really, by my language, when, you know, they're very nervous about it. I suppose the good news is 5 games, we've conceded 1.2 goals per match, and you know, 3 of those were against City. 2 of those were against.
The defense looks solid, doesn't it?
Yeah, we look solid. If we get cutting edge and make some of these chances, put these chances away, we've got that bedrock to build on. And I'm just thinking about the 15-game head start we gave everybody last year. So hopefully,
it's a good sign that we could give someone a 15 head start and then still finish relatively high up the league.
and 12 games to the new transfer window.
Yes, very true. It was just a strange game, really. It was so frustrating. It just felt like, you know, if we'd have been, like Dean said, if we'd have been more clinical and played a bit more, you know, cutthroat, but is the lack of quality players, is that a reason why we maybe didn't play that way? You know,
Isaac's got a score then, hasn't he? He tries to dink it over the keeper.
Yeah.
He puts it to either side of the keeper. Yeah.
You know, the game today is an example of why people say that we needed a little bit more.
Yes.
We had.
Oh, Dean's gone again. Dean, we've got to get your broadband upgraded now. He's back in the room.
He's back.
Oh, dude. No, but I know what you're saying, man. It's it's a very good point that you know, we didn't bring in the defensive midfielder what could have took over Longstaff. We didn't bring in the right winger that could have improved on Almiron's lack of goal input and lack of assists. Although he is playing well, which is weird to say when someone isn't scoring or assisting, but he is playing well. I feel like he's been a bit unlucky. I thought again today he was very good. But it's just that lack of, like you say, it's the lack of options from the bench. You know, again, we had it today. You can hear a groan around the stadium when Chris Wood and Jacob Murphy are coming on.
I mean, Elliot did well, I thought.
Yeah.
Elliot did very well.
Yeah.
For me, he's got to start against West Ham if Maxi isn't back.
Yes. I totally agree. Anderson looks the real deal. Very strong.
I'd go one further. I'd say put him on the left or the right, and Maxi on the right and left as well.
Yeah. Play him in his strongest position, and he looks great down that left. He looks strong. He's a little bit of an unorthodox, like, you know, he's not super fast for a winger, but he's got a trick in him, and he's very strong. So I think he could cause teams issues. Like, I don't know who that right back was today for theirs, but he had a torrid last 15, 20 minutes when Anderson came on. He linked up really well down that side with Target, and it just looked like, wow, this guy's a player. Like, this guy needs to start. And I think we are nearly at that stage, because that brings us on to Fraser, who I just tweeted earlier that it's kind of like, it's that anonymous kind of performance yet again. He's I don't like to criticize or be too harsh on players, but he hasn't done anything particularly wrong. But what did he do that was right? Like we see these key moments, like we're seeing them less and less from players like Fraser and Almiron, who again is playing well, but just they're not creating these definitive chances what ended in goals, and that's what we need, and that's what someone like Diaby would have brought on the right. If we'd have pushed the board out for him, or someone like Maddison who's got that spark. It's just we're not quite there yet, and it is a shame because we're so close to having this really, really good squad. But at the minute, we only kind of have a first 11 that's up there in the top 8 realm. And as we've seen, if you take 3 or 4 players out, you're left with the rest of the team that's carrying 3 or 4 other players. What you bring in as replacements. And it was very obvious today and again during the week that the quality off the bench just isn't there, and that's a shame, man. Especially in the latter stages when teams are bringing like triple subs on, and we're bringing on Murphy and Wood, who we've established. It's not a criticism. It's more of a fact. They aren't really Premier League quality. What do you guys think on the sub situation and quality that we have, or we're lacking?
They're definitely not the quality that we need to match the first 11. When Murphy comes on, I think he gave the ball away about 5 times. He wasn't really tracking back massively. He wasn't having that cutting edge in the final third. The frustrating point for me was with Isaac. His go-to move's a dummy. So you play the ball in from behind. He plays on the shoulder of the defender. He'll do a dummy and he'll run onto the ball. And we weren't really able to kind of apply those balls for him to run in and exploit that space on the left-hand side. I thought we would. Very true. And bringing on Murphy and Wood, it just seems as if you're trying to shore up the game. Like Wood, I keep saying this, when he was at Burnley, he used to run the channels more.
Yeah.
He used to run the channels more, and he used to hold the ball up really, really well. It seems as if he does hold the ball up well here, but he's consistently flicking the ball on to nobody.
Yeah.
Murphy's nobody not getting in behind and crossing the ball, although we know he can cross. He has had moments of quality, like the free kick that he scored when we were in the Mire a couple of seasons ago. A couple of good crosses. I think he set. Didn't he set Bruno up for one of his goals? Maybe I'm wrong. Can't remember.
I think he did. Yeah.
Maybe that was Manquillo.
Yes. maybe. But I know what you mean.
I think it's in here in his head. I think it's consistency.
He's had the odd flashpoint here and there, but there's just no consistency. And the more he plays, the worse he seems to get. Ultimately, let's talk about something positive now. The performance of Schar and Botman. I thought they were absolutely outstanding today. Absolutely outstanding. Schar especially. They both complement each other very well, and that is evident in these first few games of the season. They are very, very good together as a pair. Botman was silky smooth on the ball. His passing, switching, one of his trademarks, which we know from what we've seen of him already here, but also in his previous club, is the old switcher play, switching it from the left to the right to try and mix it up and start an attack that way. And what's really good is that Schar does it almost in the opposite side, pinging it out to the left. So they both complement each other really, really well. I thought Schar was immense in the air today. He was like leaping like a salmon all day, which he's not particularly known for his heading ability. He's more of a ball playing, central defender that's going to put his foot in. But his heading ability today was immense. He seemed like really wound up. I don't know if you saw him at the end of the Liverpool game when he got embroiled in that little bit of it wasn't a scuffle, but more of a coming to, or a bit of a argy-bargy type of thing. But he just looked
a bit of fire in his belly. They look comfortable. They look solid.
Third
clean sheet. isn't it? Third clean sheet for Nick Pope this season.
Yeah,
And
yes.
we're 6 games in. That's not bad.
No,
That's
it's not.
good.
And yeah,
but we
totally
don't want to
agree.
be that team that just draws all the time because you actually will get stuck in the mire. But Botman and Schar, they look great. They look great. And Trips and Target, it's a solid back four. This is what I'm saying. I think that platform is there, that foundation is there. Just needs that spark, that through ball. You know, Bruno can pick through ball, and even when Joe Linton manages to kind of break up play, usually Bruno then mops it up.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, and that's what we're missing. So fingers crossed, the back for West Ham.
Yeah, totally agree. When Longstaff plays, you're not getting that mobility in central midfield. You know, Joe Linton was doing a lot of the legwork today. Longstaff was, you know, he saw off the pace. It really is a hard watch at times. Bruno, like you said, when he plays, it's like a little terrier in midfield. And Bruno's so good because you've obviously got the defensive side of things. You know, he hassles and hurries and wins the ball. But then as soon as he gets it, he's starting off an attack. And Longstaff just doesn't have that because he can't get the ball fast enough to start off these attacks. That's the way I'm looking at it
as well.
The
last 2 games against, Crystal Palace, every single decision, even if the decision went their way, they were flocking around the referee. It was ridiculous. But
did you notice that? Did you notice that too?
So much.
I mentioned it online earlier on Twitter. I didn't know if you'd seen the tweet or this was your own
that's just what I thought.
Summary of it.
Ridiculous. If we did that.
I reflected on it after the game and I thought that was actually very, very noticeable how they kept surrounding the ref. And what was really funny was I thought it was quite comical, really. They were, even when the decision went in their favour, they were still surrounding the ref and arguing. What they were arguing about, I don't know, but maybe asking for a card.
Cards or
But they were winning. They got quite a lot of decisions today. They got,
Bruno gets lots of fouls. Like Bruno gets some ridiculous amount of fouls. I don't want to be Bruno loving or anything, but because he's so clever, he's so canny. You know, his body positioning, he gets us a lot of fouls, and
he does. I know exactly what you mean.
I think we're missing that. So listen, it is what it is. I'm glad Howe had a reaction today about questioning the decision because he didn't want to say anything on Wednesday, and he did show his class. But also, remember this happened to us last year. As soon as we got taken over, we had a run of bad decisions. I think it was around November time or whatever, leading up to December, and then they actually went back. I think they wrote a letter to the PGMO.
We did. Yeah, we wrote a letter.
All of a sudden, we got a penalty in the next game.
Yeah, we need to get Eddie on the typewriter again and knock a note out. But yeah, it's like there's not really a lot to talk about tonight. You know, we don't want to go too in depth because there's not really much to say apart from what we've already touched on. You know, I'm trying to think of the key points of the game. VAR was such a controversy, and we've talked about that. It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't be happening. But it kind of it takes the edge off such a good game. From a neutral perspective, I thought it was actually a very good end-to-end match. I thought there were periods of quality, but it was it feels like we're fighting a losing battle with VAR, and it's becoming so noticeable now.
Got to take our chances. It's our own fault. We had lots of chances to win the game.
Yeah,
we've got to take our chances, and I think Eddie's still dominating. We're now dominating a lot of games with possession.
Yeah.
We're increasing our possession. We're 5 or 6 games into a new possession-based game plan, which is good. But hopefully he'll do something because he'll see that we haven't got that cutting edge at the moment. And I mean, geez, even Shearer was incensed today, but we need to get Shearer up there to give him a bit of
Big Al was ranting up on Twitter, wasn't he? I know.
Him and Les Ferdinand just give a bit of striker training. How to put the ball in the onion bag.
Yeah, and what I noticed today was we got a lot of support from other fans, rival fans, rival teams, other broadcasters not associated with Newcastle. Everybody seemed to just be like, these guys have been robbed yet again. A bit like in midweek against Liverpool, we got quite a lot of sympathy from the wider football community, and it seemed to happen again today. And I saw our fans giving some sympathy to West Ham and to Villa tonight as well for controversies in their game, and it's just completely ruining the game. I mean, I think most of us, everybody celebrated that the Willock push goal as if it was a goal in real time. It didn't seem like a foul. I was actually in the Leazes end today for a change.
Oh, yeah.
Usually sit in the Gallagher, but couldn't get seated in there today, so I was down the Leazes, so I got a great view of it. And I had a feeling as soon as the goalkeeper stayed down, I said to the guy next to me, I was like, this is going to be ruled out. Even though I didn't see a foul, I had a feeling with the keeper staying down for so long, I thought he's going to claim he was fouled and it's going to be ruled out. And sure enough, he went running at the monitor. And this is the thing with the monitor, the whole monitor thing. As soon as it's become a bit of a joke, because as soon as they're called to the monitor, invited to have a look, we already know that whatever decision it is will be overturned, or VAR will correct if there has been a wrong decision, VAR will correct it. So, oh yeah, look, we've got Nick Pope on tonight. Hi, Nick.
You all right, today, Nick?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, so as well.
I know, yeah. It just feels like when they run to the monitor, that the decision's gonna be overturned, and that's not right. The referee, we should still have that feeling of which way is it gonna go. When that referee's running over, it should be like, is he gonna stick to his guns, or is he gonna be swayed by someone, in his ear? And 9 times out of 10, or even 10 times out of 10, they are swayed by the VAR official in the little room. And what's becoming obvious as well is that the TV companies have more angles than the VAR officials, which seems absolutely bizarre.
Strange.
Fans are doing their own VAR kind of analysis and saying, it's not that's not a goal, or that's not offside, or whatever. And the ref, or the VAR ref, is looking at these kind of angles that are very just hard to define, making it hard for themselves when there's other angles available. It just seems really, really bonkers. So yeah, man. Oh, just a shout out to Anders there. Yeah, nice to meet you today, mate, in the Shark Bar. Although we didn't get a pint, we queued for I queued for 20 minutes in Shark Bar. So and that was actually at the bar, probably in the queue a lot longer. But actually, I stood at the bar for 20 minutes and didn't get served. So Shark Bar, you need to up your game on match day, because that was atrocious. It was up there with the VAR shocking VAR decision today.
Yeah, I think we've still got a run of decent games now where we can get some points. We've got I'm looking at positives now. We've got 2 great additions that are going to be coming back in the team. We've got a week for Eddie to work on how he wants everyone to play with Isaac, because he's probably had 3 or 4 sessions.
It's been minimal. It's been minimal.
Exactly, and he'll learn from that as well. He's a good kid. He'll learn from that.
Yeah,
but I think you're right. I think Nick Pope's right. I think there should be some accountability for VAR. That what I think is that if they've got nothing to hide, they should get mic'd up, just like in rugby. And then you can hear exactly what's going on.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. It's something needs to change, because we've been robbed of. I can't work it out off the top of my head now, but there's been about 5 decisions or 6 decisions in the games we've had. And considering we've only had 6 games, it's basically 1 per game.
There's always one. Well, we called it though, didn't we? We said, what is it going to be today?
You saw it was a few people tweeted. I tweeted a very similar thing, and I put it out there. So it's like, which decision's going to go against us today? And I kind of put it out tongue in cheek, hoping that it would have the opposite effect, and we actually might not get some controversy. And lo and behold, we did. But it's just every single week, and it's just ruining it, man. And we could be so much higher up the league than we are at the minute, because we've not played bad. And I think that I put a tweet out earlier, the one I just alluded to before, saying, it's like it could have been a great start, excellent start of the season, but next week, if we lose, it could be a bad one. And that's nothing down to performance-wise. The performances have all been excellent. I've been really impressed with all of our performances so far. We look like a solid, hard-to-beat team. But what I was trying to say was that these are the fine margins, the VAR, it's the effect it's having on the game. And it's stopping teams from possibly sitting in nice, cushy fifth place or languishing in the bottom half somewhere because they didn't get the rub of the green. I'm just, it really does need to change because it's absolutely ruining the fan experience. Like, we celebrated down the Leazes end today. It didn't seem to be like a foul, I've already said it, but so frustrating just to have that celebration and go wild and think, yes, because it was a frustrating game. Yeah, we finally broke the deadlock. And then you knew as soon as the keeper was down that it was going to be VAR check. And it's just like, don't mind VAR checks if they're going to be legit. But,
it's always one way, though, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah.
Micro's got a good point. It's about 5 points we've lost. I was tossing it up. It's about 5 points we've lost. I personally feel 1 at 2 today, one at Liverpool. Brighton, I'm still adamant about
me too.
Wilson's goal. So, that's 5 points. I'm hoping we get the rub of the green later on in the season. I'm hoping it kind of all works out in the wash and we get decisions going our way. A dodgy penalty that actually we shouldn't have that helps us get into a European place.
Yeah,
you have to dream.
It helps us finish 4th Champions League qualification.
I wish. I'll be happy with 7th this season, to be honest.
Yeah, man. Me too. I put a few thoughts out earlier on, just tonight, saying on reflection of what I've seen so far with the quality coming off the bench, separate from the VAR controversies, what we've had, I just don't feel that the quality's there to bring off the bench. And we've already touched on Murphy and Wood. We don't want to go into too in depth, but I just feel like expectations of I can only speak for myself of what I expected, and it still might happen. We could still finish, 8th or 7th or something like that. But I just feel from what I've seen so far, we're still, 2 or 3 players. And this is why I really pushed, hard. I have no influence over who they buy, but just from my perspective, I was hoping the club would really bring in 2 to 3 players this transfer window in the attacking kind of sector. And we only brought in Isak, who's brilliant. But, it's just, if we had that extra bit of quality on the wing, or a nice attacking midfielder like João Pedro or Maddison, just to give us that spark like today, so we wouldn't have missed ASM because Maddison would have been playing. Or
match winners, isn't it? We're missing match winners.
But we are.
We finished strongly, Ben. You must admit, we always finish the second half of the season stronger.
Yeah, we do.
We do. So it's positive that we've got points on the board at the moment. I think we've got 12 games. In my mind, I think we need to try and get another 23 odd points before the winter break, because then I think we were in a good position. Come January, end of January, you've wrapped up the 40 points, and you push on from there. The earlier, the better. And then you can have additions on there. It's a shame. Like, Anderson's amazing. I think Anderson's brilliant. I love the kid. It's a shame we haven't got a couple of more Andersons. I mean, where's Santiago Munez when you need him to step up, eh?
Yeah, man. Where is he at?
We need him to come on against Fulham.
Yeah, we do. Let's see. We might be able to recreate that moment later on in the season. But man. Like, we really need to. We need to get another win. West Ham aren't in good form. I think they've flattered to deceive. They're on paper, they're not a bad side, but there does seem to be something lacking from the results this season. Is it a bit of an aging team? Like, did Moyes overachieve last season? I'm not sure, but they definitely haven't hit the heights so far this season. So
they either batter us or we batter them. That's what usually happens.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one or the other, and they're Jewish in.
Yeah, I probably agree. But let's hope we have Bruno back next week. It does look like he'll be back with a week's training under his belt, and ASM as well. Short-term injuries, a couple of little tight hamstrings there, it appears, but rather than significant injury. But if we can get them back, get them firing, like I say, the first 11. I said on the podcast the other night, the first 11 is up there for me with most of the teams in the top 8, barring City and Liverpool. It genuinely is. I'm not just saying that through blinking black and white glasses. But I just feel like as soon as we get them injuries, which we've got 3 or 4 key injuries already, and I could include Shelby in there, once you start getting them, the quality isn't there off the bench. And that's why I'm just slightly disappointed with the window, very, very slightly, that we could have brought in 2 more players, because we could see these issues, the quality on the wing when ASM is injured, the lack of a true defensive midfielder. And I know what people said, it's evolution, not revolution, but to me, these were 2 very key positions that could have been looked at, even if they were just with loans. So I'm not quite fully understanding the logic there of not bringing in a couple of bodies just to cover a couple of loan players, although apparently they did try. They tried to bring in Lucas Moura and, players like that on deadline day, and Ashby to cover the right side on right back, but just didn't happen. So this is the squad. This is what we've got, I guess. So I'm going to have to stop complaining and stop moaning and just, just get on with it. Get on with it.
I think we'll be right. I think we need to get a win. We need to get that momentum going, because we're in that. We've got a great momentum, but we're just drawing games, which is good. We're picking up points, but we need to up that. Our average points, whatever it is, 1.1 and 1.25. It needs to be. We need to be averaging a little bit more than that if we're thinking about aspirations. I think Shelby would have had a field day with Isaac smashing those balls in behind. I honestly do. So we could have done with some wingers. Howe likes ball carriers. Even when I was coaching, I like my wingers to get chalk on the boots and whip it in, because I'm old school, and I think we lack that sometimes. Because we've got some big units in our side, people that are pretty decent at heading the ball.
We have,
I think we need to take more advantage of that. But that's not what we're doing. I think we're playing inverted wingers, and then the fullbacks are overlapping and they're crossing in. So we kind of just got to go with it.
I know what you mean. It is very. It's an unorthodox style of play when you have such, height and stuff like that. But I noticed today, especially when I was seeing the corners down the Leazer's end, the height that we have in that box, especially when he brought Burn on for the final few, 10 minutes. Burn, Schar, Botman, Joe Linton, Isak. It's like, these are like 6 foot plus guys, and they're going to get goals. I think, was it Botman who had a chance in the first half when it was maybe cleared off the line? It was difficult for us to see down the other end.
That keeper had a worldie as well. We hit the post.
It might have been a save. He was very good today. He was very clever in his time wasting as well. But I don't want to talk too much about time wasting after Wednesday.
Don't bring that up.
It's like, but I did feel. I will touch on that. I did feel like. It was quite noticeable, even in the first half. But I said to a friend, it was time wasting in the sense that it wasn't time wasting to particularly get a point or a win, because obviously they weren't winning at that stage, and it was very early in the game they were doing this time wasting. I felt the time wasting was to rile the crowd. Vieira's played here many times, and he will know that this crowd can get riled when people start taking the piss and time wasting. And I felt like he'd said to them, "Dear, look, just the first half, just take as long as you want, make them riled up, get a few boos, and just see if we can rattle them." And it did. The crowd was rattled at various points with this time waste, and people were jumping off the seat, up in arms, and you could hear a few boos, and it was like it almost verging on that pantomime villain type of thing, but not aimed at one particular player, like just the whole team. When the boos started coming out, and I felt like that's not what we did against Liverpool on Wednesday. I think we did it a bit more subtly. Didn't really even see a lot of it, to be honest. I felt like it was more just kind of a narrative made up by the Liverpool fans, but it was much more subtle if we were doing it. But this today, I felt like it was very, very blatant. It was just like taking ages, like get the ball and multi-balls supposedly now, where it's like the balls are coming quick. There's multiple balls on the pitch, and it's like, oh well, we'll get rid of that one, and the whole thing was just like everything was like delayed, and it just, I don't know, it just dragged out. But I did think they were time wasting from the off, so that was frustrating.
And they're gonna try and the biggest weapon that we've got is the 12th man with the crowd, and they
definitely
are going to try and rile up the crowd.
Yeah.
We just have to be strong and keep going, keep getting behind the squads, and
Yeah.
they need to do their job and put the chances away.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, Neil, we've talked a good talk there, mate. I think we've covered most of the points. I don't know where Dean went. I'm going to have words with Dean later. Just kind of, I hope he's got a good excuse for just leaving us in the lurch there. I'm putting it down to his dodgy broadband. But yeah, man, always nice to see you, my friend. You know, we'll see if we can get some of the other guys on. It's always hard. Everyone's got commitments. You know, especially people with young families and such. You know, I know a few of the lads wanted to be on tonight. Elliot wanted to be on, and I know Dean's got kids as well. So, you know, I'm only joking with regards to people who can't make it. It's tough. I'm lucky I can actually do it myself. You know, I'm trying to be quiet, not to wake the kids. But
I'm looking at minor teenagers. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll persevere with it, man. We're going to do what we can because this could be a special season for us. And I was saying there, I'm not sure if we'll hit the top 8, but who knows? You know, it's going to be a special season. We've got a great manager, great players, especially in the first 11. And like you said, January is just around the corner in 12 games' time. And I really feel like the second half of the season it could lift off. And I'm with you on that one. I feel like if we could just get to January, add a couple of players that are possibly coming at the end of the contracts in the summer, you know, sneak a couple of big signings in. I'm being pessimistic tonight, but I think we probably could do something quite special this season. But
60 points is decent. I don't know where 60 points gets you, but I think we get 30 this back end, 30 next. Jobs are good.
Yeah, man. Okay, my friend. Right, guys. Thanks for
have a great evening, mate.
Yeah, man. Just thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll do another one. See who we can get on next week versus West Ham. Might be Neil, could be someone else. We don't know. Could be anybody. I hope it's you, mate. Though it's always nice to see you. And
good to see you as well, buddy. And thanks for everyone joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please like and subscribe. And we'll see you. No Transfer Central this week now. The window's shut, so we're going to have to see what we can plan during the week. Maybe do some live with shows, but we'll have to pick our guests carefully just to make sure that no mishaps happen this week. Anyway, all the best, guys. Take care. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon. Ben from Mouth of the Time. See you later. Bye-bye.